Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Donner Circle Looper. On it we have the looper button, the rhythm button, the record/dub button, and you've got a stop, play and clear button. This, as far as I can gather, is all about making sure that the drums sync with the loop, more or less, is what that does, from what I've learned at least. Right, it's now plugged in. I've plugged it into the effects loop of the amp. The reason I've done this is because if you plug it straight into the front and you've got an amp with any kind of gain, then it's going to make the drums sound weird. So there are ways around that. Don't worry if you've not got an effects loop. I'll show you in a little while. If you do not have an effects loop, the thing to do is plug it straight into the amp and just put this in front of it. Make sure the amp is clean. That way, when the drums come through, they won't be distorted. Just for now, I'm going to show you some of the drums and sort of what the idea is. So anything you record is going to go around this sort of loop here. If I press this again, you'll see there's sort of a snake that goes round it, and that's the length of your loop. So ideally what you want is when you're dubbing over it, being conscious of that worm going round, because you want to finish your lead or your fills or whatever you're going to do around the time that snake reaches the end. So I've pressed that to stop it. I've now pressed that and held it to clear it. Now we're going to choose some drums. So if I give that a press, and I'll leave it on select. You see select is lit up now. It should be. Right. We'll pick some drums. So let's press play first. So once I've picked one that I like, I'm just going to go probably blues, because it's just easy to work with for demonstration purposes, but there's loads of different genres. In fact, you know what? I'll go through all the genres. So we've got rock, metal, disco, funk, blues, hip-hop, cool, jazz, Latin, okay, you want to get your flamenco on, fusion, well, let's check it out. And of course you've got metronome, always handy. Pop. all the way back to rock. So if we want to choose volume for drums, once we've chose it, we can press that, it selects volume, and you can turn it up or down using that button. So you can choose your levels. BPM you can choose in just the same way. I think I'll go to about 100. Once I've recorded my loop, there's nothing to stop me from coming back. So I'll go there, record my loop, go back to drums, and change the level. Nothing to stop me from doing that. So I'm going to go back to loop. I'm going to leave that as it is for now. Now the loop may be slightly off because I'm playing with my hands and also pressing record with my hands. But on a normal day, you'd be using your feet, so you're going to have virtually no jump in between your loop ending and your loop starting again. That is in fact what this is for. I'll show you this button and we'll get to that in a sec. So the memory you can change. There are 40 banks, and you can record for quite a long time on them. I could be wrong, but I think it's like something like 20 minutes per bank. It's a long time at least anyway. Certainly more than the 90 seconds you get on most built-in loopers. So I'm going to clear that one. Is that on off? That's off. Okay, that's off. So after that, if you're going to add to level, you can choose how loud you want your loop to be. I've got it set on minus 5.5, which is probably about right. And there's a fade out, so you can choose how many seconds there are. So it's a little fade out between your one loop, or rather your loop ending and beginning again. I had mine set for no. I'm going to set it for 1 second. You see how I've had to sort of manually start drums separately? Well, that's no good. For some scenarios, that's probably great, but not this one. So I'm going to erase that, and I am going to press this button. And what that'll do is, that'll set it so that my drums and my loop start and end together. You'll see what I mean in a sec. So now it's playing that back to me. I can either jump straight in, yeah, so I can jump straight in like that and say, I'm satisfied with the rhythm. I'm now going to play a lead over it. But what you could also do is dub over it. So I could say, I could play a bass note if I wanted to. Let's just stick with A. Just go. Just do that. So if I press record overdub and start playing it again. Now that is slightly off phase, but it is an interesting sound. For the purposes of this demonstration, if it's off phase, I don't care. But the idea is not to have it off phase. It's just this is just a demonstration. It sounds kind of cool though. And then you could play that again and play a lead over the top if you want. So watch that worm. I'm going to start again. And that's what that does. You could do that all day. I hope you have as much fun with it as I have. I'm still getting to grips with it, really. There is an app for it that you can get on the PC, but as far as I can see, it doesn't really do much. There's an external control. I've yet to plug an external control into it to see what it does yet, but I think it's just fine by itself, really. I'll play you out.